Hello my guitar friends, welcome to the channel. This is a little uncomfortable angle here, but I'm bringing you my small Gibson guitar collection. We're going to open all these cases and see each of the models and talk about the specs. So yeah, we're going to do that right after the break. See you then. Okay guys, first guitar, we have Jimi Hendrix there. What are you doing, Jimmy? You didn't even play Gibson. But you did play on SG at one point. Alright, so what we have here is a brown case. If you know Gibson, you probably know this is a Gibson USA. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I think 5 latches. There's 5 latches, golden latches. So let's see what we're talking about here. Alright, so this is a standard Les Paul standard 50. So this is the 50 style tobacco burst. So the reason I bought is that because I wanted a guitar that looks like the November Rain video of Guns N' Roses, and I did see the bourbon burst. So it's kind of like some there's some controversy out there if it's like bourbon or if it's tobacco, but then in several different eras of Gibson, tobacco sometimes looks more like bourbon and bourbon more like tobacco, so who knows. But at least this is the one that looks the more similar to me. So yeah, so this is 2020 model. So in 2019, Gibson decided to go back to their roots and stop messing around with Les Pauls. No more Robo tuners, no more fancy weird things. So just like letting the Les Paul be what most people want it to be, just like true to its legacy and past. So this one comes with the Borsbockers. So it's a PAF vintage style humbucker. We have on the neck Borsbocker 1 and then Borsbocker 2 on the bridge. We have an ABR 1 bridge, a tailpiece combination. And then look at this nice flame here. It's not like super, you know, amazing like some other ones, especially the custom shop ones, but this one has tons of movement. It's like the flames are small, but there's a lot of movement, and I'll show you later in a video where I can just move it around. Even here you can actually see when I move the camera how that changes, so that is pretty cool. Yeah, it's definitely a nice top. Let's see, so we have your typical 3-way switch. The top is for the neck pickup, middle for both pickups, and bottom for the bridge pickup. We have one volume and one tone for each pickup. There's no push-pull here. This is traditional Les Paul. And then we have a cream pickguard We have cream binding on the body of the guitar. Then we have rosewood on the fretboard with trapezoid. So this trapezoid, I think is acrylic, if not mistaken. If I'm mistaken, I'm gonna put some caption on the video when I edit the video, but I think they are acrylic. It's definitely a very nice piece of rosewood there. Then we have standard on the truss rod cover and your typical Les Paul headstock. We have Cluson vintage style tuning machines. There's no locking tuners here. And let's see what we have on the back. So we have a nice mahogany here. Let's see if I can get the best angle for this. It's definitely a nice piece of mahogany. Cavity cover is resist there, and then we have mahogany neck. And then we have the deluxe enclosure of the tuning machines. Then we have binding, cream binding on the neck. It's one of those special appointments that you expect in a Les Paul standard. Keep in mind that binding is quite a luxury. It's not that easy to bind a guitar. So yeah, so this is one of the first years of the new Gibson, 2020. 1 year after, so production 2020. 1 year after they became the new Gibson, with their respecting all the connoisseurs and purists of the past, making the standard what they really wanted to be. I don't have any complaints about this guitar. It is heavy, but that's something that I expect a Les Paul to be. Yeah, it's a wonderful beast. So there you have it, 2020 Gibson Les Paul USA. Tobacco burst with the vintage 50s neck. Keep in mind this neck is kind of, you know, more like a 58. It's pretty thick, and I love thick necks. You can get this in the 60s style, which is a thinner neck. Keep in mind that you go from 58, 59 to 60. The more you approach 60, the thinner it's gonna be. So yeah, so choose wisely. All right, let's go to the next one. Okay folks, let's go to the second guitar. What do we have here? This is not a normal case for Gibson, right? So this is looks like a snake skin hard case, and it's not, it's not really snake skin, it's just kind of a simulation, some sort of Tolex painted. And we have 4 nickel latches with a brown handle. There's some leather stitching over here. So let's see. Let's discover what we have inside here. So there you go. It is a Gibson Les Paul / Signature November burst. So we were just talking about the standard tobacco burst that looks like the November Rain video one, and I didn't like the November Rain finish. I thought it didn't look like a November Rain video. But then I found this very interesting guitar. If you can see, if you know Gibson very well, you know that this guitar is not the way it comes from the factory. So during the pandemic, I was checking this Florida shop called the Guitar Guy, and he had, I think, 3 or 4 / signature guitars that were treated and aged by John Cruz. John Cruz used to be a master builder in Fender, and he left Fender after the pandemic. So he worked with the Guitar Guy on this project, and he basically grabbed, I think these are kind of the top of the tops. No pun intended. I mean, this top looks amazing. I used to, spend hours and hours in Sweetwater trying to find a nice top, and never found something close to this. So yeah, so I saw this guitar. They also have the Appetite, and I think they had a Vermilion one. But this one was the one that really caught my eye. So it has several modifications from the factory. So the first one is that it is aged. You can see right here, it's actually, you will say it's heavy age. Definitely. And then a few modifications. One of them, which is kind of, I think the biggest one, is that he replaced the slash Bokers pickup that original came with this signature line with the Seymour Duncan slash humbuckers, which are the ones that we are all used to and we love. I think it was a big mistake for Gibson try to save some money and design their own slash pickups. So yeah, so this is the real deal, and if you can see, these are the zebra, so white and black coils. Then we also have the reflector knobs. These are not the ones that come with this guitar. I think the ones that come with this guitar from factory are kind of amber. So yeah, so this is kind of more classic style, more vintage style with the reflectors. Then we have Tone Pro bridge. So this is not the standard ABR one that comes with the guitars. This was also replaced with a Tone Pro. What else? The tip of the switch was also replaced. It's a different color. I think it's more kind of like amber, the one that comes with this guitar. What else? Yeah, all the aging. Another modification here, the factory tuning machines were replaced with vintage Keystone. So it's kind of very similar to the other ones. So yeah, and then we have a grab tech knot. So the rest of the guitar, it should be the standard. This is super close to the Les Paul standard we just saw. We have a maple top, flame. There's a lot of movement here. It's also satin, so John Cruz did remove a lot of the nitro here. It's very, very soft to the touch. And you see all the finish checking. So yeah, so I thought it was a very interesting guitar. It has some aging. You see all those kind of scratches and dings on the bar here. Yeah, so I was like, this is kind of like, what if Gibson and Fender meet? Because this is kind of definitely a different type of aging that you see in the Murphy Lab. Yeah, the top is amazing. I love these lines, how they move. So yeah, so we have a solid mahogany body, a mahogany neck, all the different standard thing. We have acrylic trapezoid blocks on the fretboard. We have the slash 12-flat cover. It comes with a blank, just like the one you saw in the previous guitar. Let's go and check more of the aging as done in the back. So yeah, so this lacquer they use on the back of the November Rain is pretty dark. I don't think you can see the actual wood here at all. Not really. But you see the finish checking here as well. And then the neck is also painted with that dark colors, kind of like a dark brown, but a little bit of kind of reddish tone. Then we have the schoolie from Slash, and then the Lux Gibson. So yeah, this is exactly the same year than the previous guitar. And the thing is that the Slash guitar line, the signature line, was released in 2020, a year after that big Gibson transformation. Here's a little detail from the aging, and you can see the binding. The binding actually looks, sorry, I'm having a hard time trying to focus. It's a little more, kind of has like a tint. So it kind of looks more vintage. So you can see all the kind of cracked binding there. What else? So yeah, definitely interesting guitar. I usually don't clean this guitar. I think this is I just want it very vintage and old school, and it actually smells like old. Like you grab this guitar and was kept like 4 years in the closet or in the attic. So that's the way I keep it, just nasty. Alright, there you have it, 2020 Gibson Les Paul Signature Slash November Burst, aged by former Fender's master builder John Cruz. Alright guys, this is the third guitar. What do we have? Okay, this is if you know Gibson, you probably have got some clues about what this is. This is a custom shop case for a reissue guitar. This is not an age case, it's just BOS, vintage original spec pretty much. And we have golden latches, 1, 2, 3, 4, and there's 5, only 5. These cases, you know, they are not really that safe because these are basically a reissue of super old cases from the 60s and 50s. They didn't have the best, you know, padding, cushion. There is a label here that has the actual name of the guitar, so I'm like covering that so you don't get any ideas. We have a leather handle here, and then we have the Gibson custom logo. So without further ado, let's see what this is. Alright, so this is a Gibson custom shop reissue 1958 Les Paul lemon burst. Look at that. This is a 2020 model, just like the first two guitars. And you know, it took me a long time to find this guitar because I like the chunky necks of the 58s. The problem is that, and I wanted a lemon burst. The problem is that the lemon colors are usually, well, not the lemon, the 58 model is not as fancy as, you know, 59 and 60. It's not like those bursts that you see in the magazines and books with this crazy flame and super cool tops. So I mean, most of the ones I found were kind of pretty plain, but this guy is not the case. Look at that. Look at that piece of maple. Look at that. Yeah, it took me a couple of years researching and trying to find the top that I wanted. And then it looks like 3 different guitars depending on the angle and the distance. Sometimes you don't get to see all those wavy details at all, and then in other angles they just pop up. Alright, so let's talk about the specs of the guitar. You already know this is a vintage reissue case and comes with this thing from 2019. I think they come with this special padding for more protection. So yeah, this is a standard from the year 58. We have maple top, we have the Tonomatic bridge, tailpiece combination, we have custom Bokers 3. These are unpotted, so you get all the expressiveness of a PAF style humbucker. There's people that don't like unpotted pickups. For me, it's the best. You know, they are a little microphonic, so you have to be careful with that, and they could squeal sometimes, but it has never happened to me. So yeah, I think these are amazing PAF style pickups. Then we have binding. Is that binding? You will see later there's some red. The red tint of the body blends sometimes into that binding there. We have a three-way combination switch, the top for the neck pickup, middle for both, the bottom for the bridge. We have one knob for volume for each pickup and one knob for tone for each pickup. These are the amber style knobs. I really like how they look. Rosewood fretboard, and these are cellulose trapezoid inlays, cellulose and nitrate trapezoid inlays. We have a binding as well here on the neck, and this one you're gonna see has a lot of the red of the neck. I'll show you later, but yeah, you can see here. Then we have the vintage Gibson style tuning machines and a blank truss rod cover. This is the standard Gibson custom medallion, and keep in mind there's some others that have the anniversary edition ones. This is in a non-anniversary year, so that's what you get here. And this back is a one-piece mahogany body, and I think it looks amazing. It's a nice piece of wood, nice grain. See if I can get a better view here. We have mahogany neck, and then you can see here how red it is. You compare that to this binding here, and you keep going out, you see the red there has a lot of that, which is something that really happened. This is not something that they're making it up. Like, this is the way these guitars were in the past. They were gonna bleed some of that tint into that binding. And then the neck profile is a chunky C shape. It is something that we folks that love baseball bat necks enjoy. It's definitely very comfortable to me. I mean, for me, like, the neck profile is not a deal breaker. I can adapt to pretty much anything, but if I have to choose, I will choose a thick neck. So there you have it. Gibson Custom Shop Les Paul reissue 1958, produced in 2020. Lemon burst with a fancy top. Okay, folks, let's go to the fourth guitar. What's going on? Another custom shop case reissue. Same story here. It's the same case we saw in the last guitar. I'm also covering this label so you don't get to know right away what it is. We have 5 latches, finishing gold. So let's see what we have here. What do you think? This is a killer top for sure. This is a 1959 Les Paul reissue, finishing Sunrise Tea burst. Yeah, like Sunrise Tea, it's kind of like a interesting name for a color, but they do have all these weird names for the burst colors. And this one took me a while to find. You always see these crazy reissues in the magazines and on the internet, but when you go to the shop, you just only find like pretty plain tops. Pretty boring. So if I was gonna spend all this kind of money, I want it to be a decent top. Alright, so let's go through the specifications. This is actually a 60th anniversary custom shop reissue because it was produced in 2019. The 60th anniversary of the Gibson brand. So there you go. You don't really get anything extra if you get an anniversary model. You just get the commemorative medallion on the back. No extra case candy. So yeah, this is just like, let me just like show you a little bit of this crazy top. I mean, I spent like months going through Rebirth and comparing different tops, and it was hard. There's just not that many good tops out there. Alright, so let's talk about the specs. Similar situation compared to the previous guitar. We have the custom Boker tree in both positions. These are unpotted, PAF style vintage sound. We have your 2-piece to pneumatic bridge. We have the amber knobs, exactly the same as you saw on the 58. We have our pick guards, kind of like tinted, kind of amber-ish. We have a 3-way position switch, the top for the neck, the middle for both pickups, and then the bottom for that guy over there, the bridge pickup. We have binding all over the body, and these ones also might have bleeding of the red tint of the body, but this specific one doesn't have that much. It has a little bit here, but nothing like the 58. There you go, there's more here. We have Indian rosewood on the fretboard. And then we have this H-cellulose nitrate trapezoid inlays. So we have a difference in terms of compared to the 58, the frets are actually different. So I'm going to confirm the actual spec and the difference between this guitar and the previous guitar, because there's a difference there. I just cannot remember top of my head. I think the 58s are smaller. I'll confirm and I'll put the information right here in a caption. And then we have the one-line Gibson style vintage tuning machines. And let's go to the back of the guitar. We have, it's the same, exactly same finish as the 58, kind of a very dark reddish color, and it is a nice piece of wood for sure. So there you have that medallion for the 60th anniversary. It's pretty cool. It's kind of like a little diamond if you look closely. There's no way that's a real diamond, but I might take it to a jewelry store and make a few bucks. Alright, so the neck, we have an authentic 59C shape neck. This is a little thinner than the 58. It's not super thin, it's not a 60 profile, so I think it's the best of both worlds, to be honest. This guitar comes in the BOS finish, which is a vintage original spec, just like the previous guitar, the 58. Keep in mind you can get these two guitars with aging from the Murphy Lab, and they will basically get your bank account and get all your money for that, for a little bit of aging there. But they surely do a great job, for sure. You know, they have the light age, and then they have the heavy age. They do an excellent job. If you have that kind of money and you like those finish checking patterns, that's the way to go. Alright guys, so that's all for this 2019 Gibson Les Paul Custom Shop Les Paul Reissue 1958 finishing Sunrise T-Burst. Alright guys, it's time for the guitar number 5, and we do have another custom shop case. However, if you look closely, you're gonna find a difference if we compare to the other two we just saw. And the difference is in those latches. These are actual proper latches, you know, they close with this little thingy here. The other ones were kind of very simple, old-fashioned ones. St. Gibson custom shop logo here. Oh no, it's not. Doesn't have the little star. That's the other two. And then we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So we have one on the back. The regular custom shop reissues don't have this one on the back here. Non-age POS pretty much, and then you have a leather handle. So without further ado, let's just unveil what the heck we have inside this case. Alright, so what do you think? Any guesses? This is, let me just remember, because these names are getting ridiculous, so the names are so long. This is a 2017 Gibson Custom Shop Les Paul / Signature Anaconda plain top. These are limited edition. I always wanted one. And then she is mine, my precious. So yeah, you know, it's not as fancy as the Anaconda burst, but you know, I didn't care that much about that. There's times to love the bursts and the flames. Sometimes you can just be happy with the paint. But you know, it's kind of transparent paint somehow. It's plain, but you can see a little bit of the grain. So let's talk about specs. So in 2017 Slash released the Anaconda, and they released it pretty much in any flavor you wanted. They released an Epiphone one. I actually had the Epiphone before I had this Gibson custom shop. They released the Gibson USA one. A bit different from the current Anaconda. The Anaconda came out in 2020 with, you know, the AFD and the November burst, and Berminium one is this the knobs here, they are actually black in the new ones, and I actually like it more like this kind of this is kind of the same amber one color that we just saw in the two custom shop guitars. We have an ABR1 bridge, lightweight aluminum. We have the Slash Seymour Duncan signature pickups. That's one of the best things that this guitar has. 3-way switch, same story with the Les Paul, the top for the neck, middle for both pickups, and then the bottom for Mr. Bridge pickup. This is BOS, vintage original spec. It has the nickel, and the hardware has some patina, so that's kind of what you want in a BOS. We have ebony bridge, and this is one of the weird things, because the Anaconda came with the USA version, and even the Epiphone came with a ebony fretboard, and somehow this custom shop level guitar, they decided to put rosewood. I don't understand what is the logic. I mean, the Epiphone I have had a very black ebony piece, so I'm not sure. I mean, why the discrepancy there in terms of the specs. We have medium jumbo historic fret wire. We have celluloid trapezoid inlays. We have binding in the neck and on the body of the guitar, just like the two custom shots we just saw. So this is pretty much the furniture of the guitar, meaning the wood and all those specs is basically a 1958. So very similar to the one I just showed you. We have a one band Gibson vintage tuning machines. So yeah, this is a slash neck profile, and sorry my aim at the camera. There's a slash topper neck profile. I cannot really notice a difference compared to the 1958 reissue. It's chunky. That's a good thing for me. So what else can we say about this Anaconda guitar? It is one of my favorite Les Pauls for sure. I was influenced by Slash. I was born in the late 70s, so you can imagine it was a very big influence for me. And I just had to buy this guitar. So there you have it, guys. This is the 2017 Gibson Custom Shop Les Paul Signature Slash Anaconda with plain top. Alright, my friends, time for the last guitar. And this one, very similar to the custom shops we saw. Let's see, what is the difference then? I'm sure you can tell that this one is not in the best shape. You see these latches oxidized. Then we have the handle that has seen a lot of abuse. So yeah, this is a custom shop reissue case that has been aged. I don't know exactly if it's the Murphy Lab that ages these cases or there's a different department for that, but they surely do a good job. Gibson custom logo. Have the start this time. So we have 5 latches. Yes, we have this one on the side. There's no latch on the back. The Anaconda had one extra latch there. Let's see what else. Yeah, it's just definitely age. All right, no more waiting. Let's just see what we have here. It's been a long video. I need to go to bed. Look at that. Finally, one gold top shows up in this collection. So guys, this is a very rare instrument. They only made 100 of them. This is number 66. It is a 2022 Gibson custom shop Les Paul 1955 reissue Sergio Vagin. You know, if you're not from Latin America, you are not going to know who Sergio Vagin is, very probably. Here in America, most people don't know the band Maná. Maná is the most popular Spanish rock band in the planet. They are huge. I actually grew up listening to them. Pretty much they were huge in every single place where Spanish is the main language. So Sergio is an amazing guitarist. He started playing classical music and then switched to rock, pop rock, and he has an amazing style. So the story about this guitar is that Sergio is a very good friend of Norman Rare Guitars in California, and Sergio went there one time, and actually I think you can see that video when Sergio is there checking this guitar I'm talking about. So it was a 1955 original vintage gold top, and that gold top came originally with 2 soap bars, 2 P90 soap bars, and it didn't come with this Bixby. So Sergio wanted to buy the guitar. Eventually he made a deal with Norman and he got his 55. The thing is that a few years later, Sergio started a conversation with Gibson regarding making a signature guitar, and they thought that this gold top will be a perfect, like a model to base this signature guitar. So what they did is that, as usually, custom shop grabbed the original 55 from Sergio, and they did all this imaging and testing, and basically mapped the entire guitar, every single little scratch, every single little area that was worn through the years, all of that. They decided to make a replica. Basically, this is what they do with big artists. They just make a replica of of their original guitars. So they made 100 of them, and the thing is that Sergio wanted to have a Bixby. I mean, he became famous initially because he used to play Fender Strats, and he actually got a signature from Fender. So this is one of the few artists that have a signature from Fender and a signature from Gibson, and he loves his tremolo and that kind of sound, so that's why the Bixby was a nice addition. I mean, it just gives it this classic look. This is a B7 original Bixby. This is not the import version. This is the real deal. We have a AVR one tonomatic bridge with the B7 combination, and then that is the original neck pickup in the original guitar. He has both P90s, so his original guitar has not been modified. The ones that are modified is the resulting signature, this guitar you are seeing here. So the Bixby is new for the signature guitar, as well as this humbucker is a custom bucker for the bridge. So that's something that Sergio wanted to, you know, mainly for his solos. He wanted to have that super strong pickup there on the bridge. So that's why those are the two modifications that you see here. And he actually plays this guitar live in his tours. What else we have here? Well, this was a gold top, right? So we have a lot of finish checking. Tons of finish checking, and the finish is completely gone in this side, as usual, because you are in contact with this part with your forearm and wrist area. We have speed dials. I love the speed dials. They are huge and golden, and the only thing I don't like is that they are not aged at all. So the entire guitar has been aged by Murphy Labs, but there's no visible aging on these knobs. They look like brand new. So that's kind of like a little discrepancy there. They can do better than that. So yeah, finish checking all over the place. We have typical Les Paul, the top position in the switch for the neck, the middle for both, and the bottom for Mr. Bridge humbucker from the custom shop. We have a pick guard that is slightly tinted, it's like a cream. We have full binding in the body. We have binding on the neck. We have a rosewood fretboard with celluloid trapezoid inlays. We have a nylon knot, your typical Les Paul headstock with one band vintage Cluson tuners. This was aged by Murphy Lab. I don't know exactly what level of aging is because they don't say it in the specs. Gibson doesn't publicly release that part. So if I have to guess, I will say that this is in between heavy aging and ultra heavy aging. And you'll see the back in a minute. There's tons of damage. So let's go ahead and see the back of the guitar. All right, much better. I put the position the bar of the Bixby. Look at all that checking from this angle. That's crazy. Look at that. Look at this side. That's crazy, man. Wow. So you can see that the lacquer on top of the the binding on the neck is gone. You see here the yellowish one, that's the lacquer, and then we have all white, so that lacquer is gone. And then it comes back a little bit closer to, let me see if I can, yeah, there you go. You can see closer to the nut, it comes back there a little bit. So that's a pretty cool thing. And then we have mahogany body and mahogany neck. Man, look at that chicken, it's nuts. Look at that, wow. Yeah, I haven't seen this guitar in like 2 weeks, and I'm like, I don't remember, it was so well done. So yeah, we have, there's this big scratch here, and that comes from the original 55. Basically all the scratches, that little one there, you can see the damage, that's all in the original one. And then we have the medallion from the costume shop. The neck, as I said, mahogany, and look, we have lacquer here, and then look at how it fades away. This wood is basically naked here. There's no lacquer whatsoever here, and I love that because of course it is super smooth and not sticky. So all of that, no lacquer, and then you're gonna see how the lacquer comes back. Let me get you a better angle. So here, this is the wood with no lacquer, and here you see the lacquer coming back. That also lacquer, and then we got more checking here. And they made 100 of these guitars, and this is number 66. CSB Sergio Ballin 066. We have Cluson single ring vintage tuning machines, and then look at all the damage on the top of the headstock here. Yeah, so definitely these people know what they're doing. People say, oh, you just like drag your guitar, just drag it, put it in the back of the car, drag it around the neighborhood. That's how you age it. No, it's not that easy. This is pretty much an art. And tons of people don't like aged guitars. I like them. I mean, I don't want all my guitars to be aged, but man, this is just so awesome. I just like how they feel. They feel like a vintage guitar. Of course, you know, I like my nice clean PRS guitars, but Gibson, you know, it has the historic mojo, the vintage, the legacy. It's just a different animal. So the wood for this guitar, the mahogany, is lightweight. According to the custom shop, they selected as lighter as possible because, you know, Sergio wanted, you know, he plays long tours and 2 to 3 hour concerts, and you know, it's a pain in the ass to have a heavy guitar. And taking into account that this one has a Bixby, so that adds weight. So I'll put the weight of the guitar right here in the caption for you to check. So the frets are vintage natural tall. And one last thing is that the neck profile on this guitar is a 59 rounded C. So it's kind of like not too thick, but not too thin. It's kind of, I think it's a little thicker than my 59. So this particular one, I will say, feels right in between my 58 and my 59. So there you have it, guys. This is a pretty special guitar because of this setup it has with the Bixby and the P90, and that P90 is incredible. I love that P90. It's a very good one. Oh, forgot to say, yes, the knobs, one tone for each pickup, one volume for each pickup. I think we already talked about the three-way switch. So there you go, guys. This is the 2022 Gibson Custom Shop Les Paul reissue 1955 signature Sergio Bajin gold top. Alright guys, this is actually the last guitar. This is a surprise. It's a guitar that I no longer have, but I thought it deserves a honorable mention since it was quite a special guitar, as you can see in these pictures and videos. So this was a 2015 Gibson Les Paul Supreme Florentine in Caribbean Blue. They only made 120 of these guitars, and the Supreme was like a kind of like a challenge for the custom shops. The Gibson USA people wanted to do a very high-end guitar, so it was kind of like, let's see what these guys can do and see how it compares to the custom shop. So I think they really did a great job. Some of these old Supremes from the mid 2010s are still, you know, very coveted, so there's a lot of demand for them, and there are not that many of them. So let's talk about a little bit of the specs. So it came with a Tectoy nut. The neck is a mahogany neck with rounded profile. Fingerboard is rich light. So many people don't like the rich light. I don't know exactly why, but it kind of like looks like very dark ebony, and I actually really didn't have any problems with it. So it's 22 frets. It weighs 9 pounds and 9.98 pounds. So the humbuckers are 490R Alnico 2 on the neck and 498T Alnico 5 on the bridge. The body is chamber mahogany, and it has a figure maple top and a figure maple back, which is quite incredible. This level of flame maple. And then we have the gold speed dials, Tunomatic bridge with big speed LPs and Grover tuners, all in gold. So all the hardware is in gold. So yeah, so gone but not forgotten. Thank you so much for watching this video. See you in the next one.